Welcome back everyone to the channel. Hope you guys are doing good. Today we're back on the North Texas Beltline. Today we are working the DGNO Interchange train. Now whenever you want to run this train, the first thing you need to do is head over to McKinney Yard, which is where we are right now. And we're going to take some time with the yard crew here to start putting our train together that's going to be going out when the DGNO train arrives. Any car from anywhere on the layout that's going to end up going to this interchange, which leads to a staging yard, is going to get routed into McKinney Yard and then put on track 1. What you're seeing right now is we're pulling track 1 and we're going to kind of sort. There's a few cars that aren't going out this time. We're going to sort out what we need and put the cars back in order, and then we're going to shove them over onto the west end of the yard. If you look now, you can see we've got the cars we're picking up from staging. Here in a second, the next cut you're going to see, or the next image you're going to see up here, is going to be the cars that we're going to pick up in McKinney to go back to staging. Now in McKinney in real life, we do have, the DGNO does serve several industries in McKinney. However, there is no railroad that exits McKinney other than the DGNO. So of course, like most parts of our layout, this is a fictional connection here. And the industries that you probably see or will see at different cuts here in the video today are also not technically real industries located in McKinney. This train is a train that we call a block swap in railroading, or at least model railroading. This is a train where it's going to come in from staging. It's going to bring a whole entire block or cut of cars. It's going to drop all of them off in the yard, pick up a new set or block of cars, and then it's going to head back where it came from, essentially swapping one train for another. And then the cars it drops off in the yard, McKinney Yard at this case, gets sorted and shuffled around to different trains to be taken different places depending on their car type and their load and where they need to go. While we're building the train here, I want to talk for a minute about McKinney Yard. In our previous videos on the Emory turn, you saw a little bit of Mineola Yard, which is over on the east end of the layout. McKinney Yard here is on the west end of the layout, and this yard is just a little bit bigger than Mineola Yard. It has one extra track in it, but that's because it serves one more train than Mineola does, and so it does need that extra space. But also, McKinney Yard has a local yard crew that services a little industrial park with 7 or 8 industries in there, and so there is quite a bit more volume of traffic that comes through McKinney Yard. Taking a look now, we're picking up our train over at the DGNO yard. I'm going to pull it out here and head into McKinney. And once we come into McKinney, we're going to pull into track 2, where we're going to cut our entire train and leave those cars on track 2 for the yard crew to shuffle and move to their proper tracks after we get off the head end here. On some days, the yard here is not super full and we can actually complete our run around inside the yard, but today we have a very busy yard. And so we had to call into the dispatcher to get some dispatcher permission to come out onto the siding, which is dispatcher controlled territory. in order to complete our runaround. So now you see us backing up down the siding here. We are technically out of the yard limits of McKinney Yard, which is why we had to call the dispatcher. And once we complete this runaround on the far side, we're going to back up on the track 2, connect with the cars that are heading out with us, and then we're going to head out. Technically it's north, although in the layout it counts as west, but technically in real life the DGNO heads north out of McKinney. And here you see that we're backing up down track 2, going to make a connection here and take a quick moment to have an air brake test, which when we're modeling this happens very fast. In real life this process does take a few minutes, but since we've already talked to dispatch and got ourselves cleared out to the DGNO yard, we're going to go ahead and head out here in just a second, and you'll see us get out there on the roundabout, as it's called. And now you've made it. This is the roundabout here. This is where the east and the west end of the layout more or less kind of connect. This does allow for us to run trains all the way around the layout if we'd like to. However, since we're doing operations and we're trying to run it in a semi-prototypical sense, the only time that you're ever going to pull a train out here into this roundabout is in order to come out or back into either the UP staging yard up in the right, or in this case the DGNO yard, which is kind of here in the foreground and then leading down to the bottom right. On your left you do see the edge of McKinney Yard, and then of course in the far back right is McKinney Yard where we just came from. I do like this camera angle right here. This allows you to see almost the entirety of McKinney Yard, all 5 tracks assigning the main. And then also you get a nice look at the industrial area here over on the left. When we have a train operate that, we do have some footage. I'll be making a video on that. That's one of my favorite jobs to run. And when we used to do multiplayer sessions, that was always one of the first jobs to get picked. Here we are backing around the roundabout. If you didn't know what a roundabout was, now you see it's just a big ugly circle. It's always kind of a funny thing to hear people ask, how do they, properly get a train back here into these yards? It's a little confusing at first if you've never messed with this layout before, and I totally get it. While we're enjoying this splendid view here and watching such exciting action going on, I wanted to take a second to just once again say thank you guys for coming in and watching. Always appreciate the support, and hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Don't go just yet, there is a little bit left still, but wanted to go ahead and throw that reminder out there. If you haven't yet, please make sure to go like the video, leave a comment. I'm always welcoming any sort of feedback you guys might want to give. Plus also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share with your friends if you don't mind. That's anything like that is always going to be very helpful. Also too, if you'd like, check the description. If you do find this route interesting, you can find information about where to find it on the Trains download station for Trains 2019. I don't currently have a version that works in any version of Trains earlier than 2019, so you would have to have either 2019 or 2022. Well, one interesting detail that you guys will see in just a minute that I find not necessarily required but useful and interesting and different is the fact that these staging tracks are deliberately shorter than they need to be in order to force you to separate your train and move part of your train over to a different track. It's not because of any sort of reason other than just to create something a little bit different than the monotonous kind of do this, do that, and never do anything different. So, but with that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Please stay tuned for more videos coming soon. And thank you guys again for joining. I hope that you will leave a comment and subscribe and let me know what you guys think. Talk to you later.